Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are doing great. Got the Carolina Panthers fantasy football preview for 2021. I've been covering all the teams, so go ahead and check out those other videos. Those are all in a certain playlist. I'll have that in the description. So go ahead and check all those out and stay up to date. So yeah, we're going to be covering the Panthers here. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and sign up for the Ultimate Draft Kit. First link in the description. It's going to, best draft kit that you could ever want and need, and it's going to get you guys set up for the season. Absolutely love it. It's a game changer, and it's going to help you guys out tremendously. So yeah, starting with the Carolina Panthers here, going to be going over a lot of the fantasy players that are you going to be drafting or want to draft, and what to stay away from here. So We'll go in order from quarterback here. We have Sam Darnold currently being drafted at 270. So realistically, Sam Darnold shouldn't be on any of your guys' radar as a quarterback. At best, he could be a streaming option based on certain matchups this season. They have a good enough offense for him to be a streaming candidate, but you're not starting Sam Darnold. There's just really no way. Sam Darnold, coming off a very bad last season with the Jets. I know he's got a new change of scenery. We'll see if that benefits him. But last year he put up 2,208 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 11 picks. Ran for 217 and 2. Finished with 134 fantasy points, which is not very good for a quarterback. His projections this year definitely a lot higher, a lot bigger. Over 100, almost 100 more projected fantasy points at 223. Projected to get 3,843 yards, 17 touchdowns, 14 picks, 187 yards rushing, and 3 touchdowns. That would definitely be a huge improvement for Sam Darnold. Like I said, not drafting Sam here. Don't do it unless maybe you're in a 2-quarterback league. Stay away from Sam. Then we got Christian McCaffrey, the AP number, the number one fantasy player on most boards, I would imagine. I unfortunately had McCaffrey last season as the number one pick, and those injuries, it's a shame. McCaffrey only finished with 225 yards on 59 carries, 5 touchdowns, 17 catches for 149 yards and 1 touchdown, only finishing with 90 fantasy points. I mean, as your first pick, such a letdown. Let's hope he gets back to business here. Hopefully health is past him. We'll see. Or injuries past him. And his projections this season, fully healthy. That's the projections. 250 carries, 1,065 yards rushing, 10 touchdowns, 85 catches, 677 yards, and 3 touchdowns for 333 fantasy points. I mean, who doesn't want that out of your number one player? I mean, that's just kind of a must-have. The question is, is he healthy? A lot of question marks, I think, with McCaffrey. But, if he ends up having a solid year, he's definitely worth that number one pick. The next pick we have DJ Moore being the next highest one drafted at 44. So you can get him mid-4th round, beginning of 4th round. Love DJ Moore for his value here. You're going to get a wide receiver 1 in the 4th round, which is really solid here. DJ Moore coming off a 66 catch, 1,193 yard season with 4 touchdowns, finished with 211 fantasy points. Had a really great year. A PPR machine. Love DJ Moore this year. Hopefully him and Sam Darnold, develop a really good chemistry. That's the hope. Projections for DJ Moore this year are 81 catches for 1,215 yards and 5 touchdowns for 233 fantasy points. So the projections have him getting about 20 more points boosted here. Love DJ Moore. I mean, him and Robbie Anderson, I think, are really great receiving options on this team. So I love DJ Moore for where he's getting drafted. In round 4, you can get a solid PPR stud. Then next on the list is Robbie Anderson at 66. You can get Robbie Anderson in the mid-6th round, which is really crazy. 6th, 7th round. Robbie coming off a really awesome year. 95 catches, 1,096 yards, 3 touchdowns, finished with 224 fantasy points. Yeah, you know, this team supported 2 1,000-yard receivers. Crazy. With, you know, since McCaffrey went down. We'll see, maybe a full season with McCaffrey. Maybe it limits their upside. I'm not sure. But I still love both of these players here with DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. Projections for Robbie are 84 catches, 1,018 yards, 5 touchdowns for 215 fantasy points. And Robbie Anderson, you know, he's already developed chemistry with Sam Darnold back at with the Jets. So love Robbie in the 6th round. Maybe if you miss out on DJ, you can get Robbie, which they're both pretty much. There's really no wide receiver number 1 on this team. They're both coming off 1,000-yard seasons, both going to have a good year. I think the better value is probably Robbie Anderson in the 6th round. If you do miss out on DJ, go ahead and take Robbie. Robbie, pretty much wide receiver 1 talent here in the 6th round, which is, you know, hard to find. Wide receiver 3, kind of a sleeper for the team. You're probably not going to draft him, but he might be a waiver ad this season. But it's Terrence Marshall, projected to get 47 catches, 578 yards, and 3 touchdowns with 121 fantasy points. Could be a solid wide receiver 3, filling in for that Curtis Samuel role, which he had a pretty dominant role last season. So just a name to keep in mind there. And then tight end, very irrelevant, I think. You have Dan Arnold as the tight end. Dan Arnold was with that Cardinals last season, coming off at 31 catch, 438 yard, 4 touchdown season. Only finished with 96 fantasy points. He's projected to get 30 catches for 369 yards and 2 touchdowns for 79 fantasy. Unless he makes some noise this season and starts producing, he'll just be a waiver ad. You're not drafting him. The only other notable person that you draft on here is maybe Joey Sly as a kicker. 129 for 36 last season, 33 for 36 on extra points. Finished with 122 fantasy points. Had a pretty solid year. Maybe their offense picks up a little more this season. He can get more opportunities in the kicking game. But that's about as good as it gets for the Panthers this season. Not really going to draft anyone else, unless you could take a chance on Chuba Hubbard as the backup, just in case McCaffrey does get hurt, which is possible this season. Hubbard, coming off a really great career at Oklahoma State. So if you want to back up McCaffrey, go ahead and get Hubbard. You can pretty much get him for free in the late rounds. But yeah, that's going to be it for the fantasy video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Good luck with your guys' fantasy drafts. It's fantasy draft season. Hopefully you guys make the right selections to help your squad, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.